Hi guys, it's Samuel Larsen here, and let's cover website speeds for e-commerce, and specifically what do you need to know and focus on to make your store load fast, and what kind of result change that means for your store. So let's start with the basics. We really need to consider that most people actually don't have fast internet. So we have our mobile phones, we have our mobile networks that we do a lot of our browsing with, and those are usually not the fastest. So you might be browsing it from home with your super Ethernet cables and so on, and you will actually see a completely different world than most people do. So this is important to keep in mind because website speeds are really highly correlated with both bounce rates, exit rates, and eventually also revenue. So really the faster your store loads, the more it will sell. That's a universal rule. And let's take a look at this pyramid here. And you can see on the bases here, we have functionality and accessibility. So this is really the features, and this is the base of what you should start your optimization process from. And these really concern the website speeds because in order for you to be able to be persuasive, to write great copy, you need to get it in front of the customer and not have them leave before you even get a chance to convert them. So start from this with your store optimization process. Now, with website speeds, first of all, we need to measure. Measuring before we can actually know where our problem points are. So just make sure that your Google Analytics is recording 100% of the page speed data. Now, Google Analytics, they have built-in speed measurement, and that's really a great tool. So we don't really care about the average load times of these individual stores, but we want to look at specific pages. So every store usually have a couple of pages that are a bit problematic in terms of load time, and they have, you could say, leaks or some issues with there, and you want to work on those. And you want to especially make sure that your high traffic pages and the important pages for the sales are really handled well on this part. So maybe there's a page that gets one visit per month. You don't really need to worry about the load speed of that, at least not in the beginning. The second and probably more important metric is the so-called average document interactive time. So this tells you how many seconds until the page is actually usable. And you want to get the report for pages with most page views, and especially the ones that is your home page, because your home page usually has some elements that take a lot to load, and that's when customers are most likely to bounce. They haven't checked out the store yet, and they haven't bought in. And compare that to your average load speed, and you will get a good idea of where you are. So you want to make sure that all your popular pages are compared to the average load speeds of your store, and you want to work on those. Make sure that they're not like too much higher than the average. So the next question, of course, is what kind of numbers should we aim for in terms of optimizing the store? And there's several numbers that you want to take a look at. And one of them is requests. And requests are basically your web browser going back and forth with the server. And this should be down to at least 50. So 50 individual requests that you want to load from the server. And cutting the number of requests is a little bit technical. So if you are not technical yourself, get a developer to work on this. But it is mostly about combining the CSS and the JavaScript files. So you could use CSS sprites for images, for example, and make sure that there is not these bottlenecks in the code. But talk to somebody technical about that if this kind of stuff scares you, and they will be able to help you. Okay, now with individual pages, you're really looking for load times that should be under 5 seconds. And why 5 seconds specifically? I want to show you this chart, so take a look at this chart. It's a loading chart, and how specifically does this load time correlate with revenue. So from this one, we can see that if it takes 5 to 6 seconds to load, you have already lost half your people. And obviously, if you lose half your people, it's going to have a big impact on your sales and on your revenue. So this is why we want to have individual page size under 2 megabytes. So have this as your maximum, and always try to aim under that, and I will cover how in a second. But as a general rule, go under 2 megabytes and have no elements there or scripts that would load over a second. Okay. So reducing the load times, it often comes down to a couple things. Of course, there were the technicals that we already covered, but also a big part of it is just images. So aim for a properly sized images that should be no higher in resolution than they need to be, but also reduce the total number of images. So if you have like 7 slides, you probably don't need all of those. You can do your research and see that nobody actually sees them, but they still load them. So this kind of stuff helps a lot. Try to avoid big images and optimize them for faster load times. Really helps to save the images at 60% quality, because nobody can see the difference between 60% and 100% really. So you don't need these super sharp images. But 60% will be significantly smaller than 100%. So make sure that those 60% are there. And for non-transparent pictures, use JPEGs, because PNGs are really heavy, and you don't want that if you don't actually need the transparency there. All right. Thirdly, I would just kill the apps that you don't need. If there's apps on your store that take a while to load, and apps can be heavy, so most likely that is the case. So just kill them if you don't need them and they don't add significant value. Simple can be better here, and it will also make your site more clean. And the last tip I would give is never use more than 2 fonts per page. So you want to have your body font and your header font basically, and that's it. You really don't benefit by having many fonts there. They will just bloat your load times. Okay, so that's it really. Make sure your pages are way faster from now on, and hope that was helpful. Make sure to subscribe for more videos that will help you sell more online. Thank you for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Thanks.